are these people?
We've also got, holy crap, another right-wing guy. Okay, in this case, it's a guy from the Blaze. All right, and he was at January 6th. He was actually there. So now, but what's, now I'm worried for our friends that were there, but now what he's also done is, and this was an ongoing timeline after it all went down on March 1st. So we probably should start like at the bottom and start at the article. What has been uncovered? What is happening? Blaze Media editor here, 9:19 a.m. It starts about here. Blaze Media investigative journalist, TPC for USA, and that's what's his name? This guy at the top here, Steve Baker, right? So Steve Baker gets arrested for basically his January 6th reporting. They take him into custody. They walk him by a pair of agents to a vehicle. This guy was turning himself in. He knew for months that he was going to be arrested. They made a public spectacle out of this guy. All right. They wanted to make a show out of this. All right. So Blaze Media editor-in-chief Matthew Peterson, who accompanied him, said that it was tough to watch, totally unnecessary. There was no reason to take him into custody and have U.S. Marshals transport him to the courthouse. We expect and hope to see him on the other side of this in a few hours. Right. So you've got Glenn Beck weighing in. He's the co-founder of Blaze Media. He wrote an op-ed saying that. Right. So again, these are not necessarily people that we like, but they still have a right to report. They have a right to exist. They have a right to speak freely. They should, at least. So what did happen? All right. Baker announced in December. Right away. Right. That Baker announced in December that the FBI and the DOJ would be charging him for his January 6th reporting. But 2 days later, he noted that the FBI said his self-surrender was postponed until after Christmas. And he's basically
after Christmas.
He's been sitting and waiting ever since Christmas. Basically, since I
waited till Christmas.
Since our last show, he was still waiting until like last week. This shit's crazy, right? So they've known for 3 years, his attorneys say, but it's only now after he's broken 2 major stories greatly embarrassing to the DOJ that he's possibly being targeted for arrest and possibly felony prosecution. Again, this is what a lot of what I see on what we would call right-wingers. They're defining this as lawfare, using the law to impose their will upon their political opponents and the people that might potentially report on them.
Allegedly Donald Trump.
Like allegedly Donald Trump, correct. All right.
Yeah.
Stop.
All right.
You violated the law.
Right. So Baker discussed his legal saga in a pair of October commentary pieces for Blaze News, right, detailing the ins and outs of the federal investigation he's been under following his independent journalistic work on January 6th, which he began before he joined Blaze News. So this guy was an independent. He was there on J6. Blaze realizes that he aligns with them and that he's got a story, he's got chops. They hire him, and now the entire establishment Democratic Party, they want to come after him because he's Blaze News and because he may potentially publish something embarrassing to J6. So what happened? What has been uncovered as a result of his investigations? And this may get us in a little heat with one of our hosts here.
I feel like Blaze News could be a lot better if it was 420 Blaze News, but what do I know?
Well, So his first J6 analysis for Blaze came last October. Wait, I lost it there for a second. Following countless hours in a House subcommittee office looking at frame after frame of J6 closed circuit video, and it had him wondering, did Capitol Police Special Agent David Lazarus perjure himself in the Oath Keepers trial? Soon after, the slow pace of getting an unrestricted look at everything in recorded on video prompted Blaze Media editor-in-chief Matthew Peterson's appeal to House Speaker Mike Johnson to release all the videos, which he did on November 17th. Right now, here's what also happened. is that Baker's investigative efforts also resulted in 2 additional analyses. And I think that this is also just as important, if not more important, because it involves Harry Dunn. What do you know about Harry Dunn, Reef?
Not Harry. Very bald.
That's true. That is true.
Very bald guy.
He's.
I was guessing.
He left the Capitol Police, first of all, since. And what's he doing now? He's running for Congress as a Democrat.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he is.
He's running for Congress as a Democrat. All right, so basically,
the name.
On his heroic January 6th actions as the reason why you need to vote for him. All right, so any investigative journalism that's going to show that his account of January 6th does not add up at all, they ain't going to be too keen on somebody that's reporting that, okay? Let's call this for what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, how dare they?
President Trump incited an erection.
Right? So he wrote Please tell me you have the Jake Tapper one too.
I don't have that
was so good. That was so good. Oh my God, it was so good. All right. So January 6th and the N word that wasn't, I don't even want to read or get into that, but you feel free to. I will drop the links. They will be in the description after the stream is over and in the Substack as well. In December, Baker alleged that he uncovered major irregularities involving Dunn, the Capitol Police, the press, and Representative Jamie Raskin. The plot thickens. In January, Baker asserted that newly released U.S. Capitol closed-circuit TV video clips from J6 show Lazarus gave false testimony in the Oath Keepers trial. And again, that's on the Blaze, but I remember Tucker Carlson also talking about this at some point. Right? So, also in January, Baker and others were asking what the U.S. government has to hide in regard to the pipe bomb found on J6 in the DNC headquarters.
Yep.
Baker in February wrote another analysis titled Capitol Police Diverted All CCTV Cameras Away from DNC Pipe Bomb Investigation, except one. Then he also penned his latest analysis last week asking why Kamala Harris was at the DNC and not the Capitol on January 6th when she's the vice president of the president of the Senate.
Yeah.
Some interesting questions and some definite reasons why you think that there might be an incentive to go after this guy and to lock him up. Now, I don't know exactly, and they didn't even say what the charges were. He was told by federal authorities to wear shorts and sandals when he turns himself in tomorrow morning. But then instead of abiding by the humiliation process, he tells me I'm going to pray and then I'm going to put on my suit and tie and walk in with my head up. So that was that. That was the video of him getting perp walked. All right, there's him. I believe after he's in the morning before he's about to turn himself in. That's 8:15 a.m. Here is the criminal complaint. Knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building or grounds without lawful authority. Disorderly and disruptive content in a restricted building or grounds, because he walked in the front door of the Capitol, which was already being rioted and was reporting as an independent journalist.
They already let people in.
All right. And that he was
gave him a tour.
Parading, demonstrating, or picketing. I did not see the footage, but I don't believe that he was demonstrating, parading, or picketing, nor was he creating.
Also, I love how that's criminal, by the way. You know?
Yes. Well, if they want it to be, and you're not welcome there.
Where was that episode of Law and Order?
Right?
You know? So
he believes the U.S. government has been targeting him for it. So on Friday, he was charged with 4 misdemeanors. He turned himself into the FBI in Dallas. At 12:37, Jill Savage noted that she exited the courtroom with Baker, who was able to wear his dress clothes but had shackles on his wrists and ankles. He's expected to be released today. His next hearing is set in D.C. for March 14th.
For misdemeanors?
For misdemeanors.
For 4 misdemeanors? Jesus Christ.
Again, they are going super hard after anyone that was at January 6th that they can identify, who they can say either ran into the, well, he's got Donald Trump Jr. I guess they're arresting. When you can make Donald Trump Jr. look rational?
I don't know if you remember this, but you remember AOC's handcuffs that weren't actually handcuffs? You know?
Right.
Compare that to this for 4 misdemeanors. Like,
she wasn't really even arrested for anything other than protesting. But here, so after his FBI arrest, he says, I don't like the deliberate. Let's hear what he has to say.
I probably don't have a lot to say right now. I need to process for a little while. I'm actually still shaking a little bit. I don't like what I just went through. I don't like the deliberate humiliation that they put me through. There was no reason to do that. There was no reason to march me into a courtroom in leg chains today. There was somebody there answering for a felony, and they weren't in chains. My charges are misdemeanors. It's just, it's mind-boggling. But that is, unfortunately, the type of selective persecution that January 6th defendants are facing. And ultimately, what we are looking at here, and probably the only reason that many of the January 6th defendants have had to go through what they've had to go through, is because of what I've talked about so many times and what I've written about so many times. It's called scary words. It doesn't matter if it's Stuart Rhodes. It doesn't matter if it's the grandmother who chanted USA, USA in the Capitol. It's the scary words that were said. If you don't say the right thing at the right time and comport to the right narrative, that's what they're going to do, is they're going to come after us, and that's exactly what's happened. It's not, these charges have nothing to do with my behavior at the Capitol. These charges are reflective of what I said before and after my speech, what I thought about things, what I joked about. That's what this is reflective of. And so that's what we're up against right now. We're not quite Canada yet, you know. We don't have Pierre Trudeau wanting to put people in prison for life for hate speech, but this is the beginnings if we don't stand up against it.
Yeah, and that guy to his right looks like Kirkland brand Sam Watterson, but what do I know? You know. So,
man. Journalism is not a crime. I'm going to say that right now. I'm going to say it loud and clear. Journalism is not a crime. They are certainly punitively going after this guy because they don't like what he's saying about them. Misdemeanors for being in the building. Not only that, but because he was there on January 6th and now starting to use that data to embarrass them and tear their narratives down. That's, man. Oh, and then he's gonna, and then he'll go out tomorrow and rail about the communists. That's absolutely right. Oh, himbo, yeah. Can't wait until he tries to frame this as some kind of communist takeover, because y'all know that's coming. You bet that is. You bet. That's their talking point.
I like how Kofi Bot will put up our stuff in chat from Kofi. That's nice.
That is pretty sweet. So
pull it up with Twidget now.
Nice. All right. Well, that's number one of journalism under assault. I'm going to put this up.
Yep.
Thank you to all of our supporters, past and current, right now. Here's a list. There are some ways to donate to INN.